we'll drive this thing back to the station, aka my house, and then figure out what we're gonna do from there. Don't mess with your stock intakes, kids. So the other day I was browsing the Mercedes forums and looking for ways to make my supercharger louder on my E55 AMG. I came across a thread where someone put pod filters on their intakes and said it was way louder. I thought, hell, if you could put it on the intakes and it's loud, what if you put a filter directly on the throttle body? The following is what happens when you try stupid mods. What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Eat, Sleep, Drive, and today's gonna be a fun one. I hope you guys brought your sense of humor today. It's time to create some serious supercharger whine on my E55 AMG. Now, if you guys have watched my videos in the past, you've heard me complain about how quiet this car is from an engine bay perspective. The exhaust is very loud, don't get me wrong, but the engine bay, I can't hear the supercharger on this thing at all, and to me, that is a problem, but we're gonna change that. And here's how. Mushroom pod filter. Yeah, this is definitely not the best way to do things and probably not something that I'll do long term, but I thought it would be worth a laugh to throw this thing directly on the throttle body. I'm gonna completely get rid of the intakes altogether on this thing and just put it directly on the throttle body. And I've seen some videos online. It's supposed to make for some serious supercharger whine. So let's go dive into this thing, remove the intakes, and try and install this filter so we can make a bunch of noise. Okay, so this is the before audio, before we take these intakes off. This is what it sounds like stock. Lots of V8 muscle, but no supercharger whine. Like, what the hell? I'll even get on it like real hard here. So yeah, like, it just doesn't give you any supercharger whine. The intake system on this car is kind of interesting. It's much different than most cars I've worked on. It's sort of like this airbox into that Y. You got some pipes feeding it. The pipes are the cold air feeds, I guess you want to say. So the air comes in through the front of these little ducts here and fed into the engine bay. So part of the reason why this is not really a good idea long term is because I'm going to put a mushroom filter on the throttle body up there, and this engine gets super hot, so it's going to suck in a ton of hot air up there. So probably not the best thing for heat soak and high intake air temperatures, but it should at least be comical for some serious supercharger whine. I brought the car inside because it was kind of loud out there, but before we get started, guys, can we admire the fact that I finally got the hood in the service position? Thank you guys so much for your tips for getting this thing up. Basically, like, I was just doing it on one side. I thought the pin preventing it from opening was on one side, but it's actually on both. So huge thanks to you guys for giving me a tip. And now there's so much more room for activities, and it's so much easier to work on this thing. Now, I'm not gonna bore you guys too much or go into too much detail as far as the start of this, because we really just need to take off the air boxes. And I've already done that in another video. So I'll just sort of speed through this. So now that we have the air boxes off, I can show you guys, really the only thing I have to worry about here, you can see this little intake tube here that runs to the valve cover. It's like a vent. That is something I'm gonna have to figure out how to deal with, because there's a vent on the valve cover here, boom, right here, which that connects to. So I might just put a filter, one of those just small filters from AutoZone or something over it temporarily. But you can see there's no sensors or anything because this is a map. This car uses a map sensor, so there's no like MAF or anything in here. So it's totally fine to actually just remove that whole air box, and I mean, sort of fine to stick something directly on here. Now let's see if the filter that I have is gonna fit, because now that I'm looking at it, there's not a lot of room. I wanted one that had like more extension here, because you could see it's gonna get really close. Oh man, that's really close. All right, now let me show you guys my masterpiece here. This is the master plan. Okay, so the problem was the filter with the stock rubber grommet was hitting right here. Like there wasn't enough depth to get the filter away from the throttle body. So what I did was take that thing off that was just standard on there, and I found in my little cubby of leftover parts a 3-inch silicone coupler. And what I did was just take that little stock grommet out and just jam it in here, and it's actually sealed around the edges pretty good. And now I'm going to just throw my hose clamp on. Let's see, I should be able to get to that hose clamp like that, and then try and press this thing onto place if I can. Now, I definitely have more distance away from the throttle body, so that should give me more clearance here. It's just a question of, can I get this coupler on? Do a little twist action. Look at that. Look at that. Nice. I'll get that a little more centered and tighten this hose clamp down, and boom, look at this. This is so ridiculous. Antiques are gone. A yellow chrome mushroom filter on my E55 AMG. I'm sure you guys are loving this. I can't wait to read the comments on this video, but as soon as I get that hose clamp tightened up and that coupler a little more centered, I'm gonna start this thing, and it's probably gonna sound pretty awesome. All right, here we go. The car is all together, ready for the first start. Hit it, man. Sounds pretty normal. Give it a few light revs. Oh man, that's a lot of induction noise. Let's take this thing for a drive, get it warmed up, and then see how much whine we can get out of it. Okay, so let's check out this car at a more full throttle application and see what the Supercharger Whine sounds like. Okay. All right, let's try that again. What the hell? How is this possible? It sounds no different. I did pull after pull, but the truth is there was just really no more Supercharger Whine inside the cabin. There was a little bit more outside the car, which I'll show you guys a clip now, but overall this was a failure. Well guys, that's basically it. That's basically the ending to this video. This isn't exactly how I anticipated this video going. I'm not gonna fake stuff. Like, this didn't work. So I'm not gonna try and fake it or tell you that it did work. I saw a bunch of stuff online about people putting intakes on their car, making a bunch more Supercharger Whine, but it's just not the case. And after some more digging and Googling, it seems like unless you do a fixed pulley or a smaller pulley on this thing, there's really just you're not gonna get a lot of whine out of this stock clutch style supercharger pulley. Is that true or not? I don't know, because I don't know what's true at all anymore. But I'm a little bit disappointed in the pod filter. I thought it was going to be a lot of fun, but do stupid mods, get stupid results. Like, what else can I say? I hope you guys enjoyed my failure. Even though this video didn't go exactly as I planned, I hope it was at least entertaining for you guys. If you want to check me out in between episodes, you can check me out on Instagram at Eat Sleep Drive TV. What should I do next on this car? Should I do a pulley now because I failed miserably with the ghetto intake? Let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear from you guys. We'll see you on the next episode of Eat Sleep Drive. Peace.